And very important. I mean, I don't know whether we discussed this or not. Like, goal is very important part. Like, what is the driving force for
Mhm.
something in our life, right? Whatever we do, there should be a driving force goal where we should work on that, and that is how we can avoid distraction and everything, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a
that's very
very
nice.
important point. Yeah.
True. Anybody else?
Yesterday's session, I got 1 point
Mm-hmm.
images. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so before we started the images, how to set the goals. So
Mm-hmm.
before set the goals, we have to what I want to this job, what you want to achieve. So before we think about two things like either job or achievement, before we started in the career. So after thinking, so we have to like continuously we follow up on this to the images and set the goals. Yesterday's session, this I got at this point.
Awesome, Ravi. That's a great point that you made. Guys, anybody else who attended yesterday's session? Ashish, you
Um,
want to
I
say?
want
yeah,
I want to add one point.
Please go ahead.
okay.
In which area we are trustful? Particularly, Vijay sir asked us in which area we are trustful about marriage, career, or organization.
Uh-huh.
For the change, what we have to do. That's all.
Very nice. That's great. I mean, having that kind of thought just motivates us to go in the right direction.
Yeah, Vini, I would like to add something.
Yes, Sanjeev.
I think most of the time we are unhappy because I think the most important thing I believe in yesterday's session was about how to identify your own goal, right? Most of the time, our goals are based on the lenses of our either family or our peers, right? We follow goals which we feel that make you successful, not what we want. And it's very difficult, easy to say, but it's very difficult to really find out what make you feel happy. Because I think it's a journey. You have to keep evolving. You have to keep trying out different things. And because in my case, if I look at it, I have been setting goals after goals, and I have achieved those also.
Mm-hmm.
But then there is always a next goal.
Sure.
So I think the most important thing to ask is like, what's a real goal that will make you happy? And I think he mentioned, I've gone to the video, and he mentioned that. Sorry, I'm not able to recollect, but maybe I'll share that day some time. Yeah. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Sanjeev. I think, having the clear definition of what success means to us, it makes the whole journey worthwhile. Yep.
Yeah,
Anybody else? Yes, Ashish.
yeah, Vinny, I want to add. So yesterday, Vijay mentioned about facts versus opinion. I think
Mm-hmm.
most of the time we have the misconception, like we generally consider the opinion as a fact. Like he gave the example about the career, like the technology might get obsolete. That could be the fact, but the career is not doomed, right? So that is sometimes we take it as an opinion, okay, right? So that's why he mentioned like don't go over the I mean, don't interchange the facts and the opinions, right? Be mindful about the facts versus
Mm-hmm.
opinion, and focus on what you want to achieve in your life. So that was one key takeaways for me, yeah, from yesterday's
Mm.
session.
I think that was the biggest takeaway from me because that's the battle we all are fighting day in and day out,
Exactly.
being stuck between facts and opinions. Amazing,
Right.
Ashish, amazing. Very nice. Anybody else? The one more last person before we move ahead?
Yeah, Vinny, I want to add one more thing.
Yes, Giant.
Yeah. So one thing, I don't know whether this point was covered. So one thing was about goals, and then like basically people usually keep money as goal instead of having the growth as goal. So that is the difference he talked about. Like if you have growth as your goal, then automatically you will make money. Like in the area of the passion, like where you want to grow, if you keep that as a goal, then money, you'll automatically make money down the line rather than just concentrating on money.
A very valid point, Giant. Thank you so much. All right. So let's get started with the book club session. All right. Now it's my turn to speak, and I love to do that. So let's get started with this. Okay. So we live in a world of endless possibilities, right? Why is that only a handful of them thrive, get success, and live their dreams? Have you ever wondered why? So what I think is like there is a very, very thin line. Okay, it's a gray line, a very thin gray line between passion and self-belief that says, I can do this. Certainly, I can do this. But then the question that arises is, how? Now, this takes me to the session that we had yesterday. It was a very short, sweet, but a very impactful session that we had yesterday, talking about like how do we get successful? How do we keep ourselves motivated? And to explain like what I took away from yesterday's session, I will be narrating two short stories for you, which will help you understand the importance of what we learned yesterday. Okay, my story number one. So we have this man who was walking nearby a group of elephants, and these elephants were tied by a small rope on their front leg. Okay, now this man was totally surprised. Why aren't these elephants making an attempt to move and break free? Why do they want to be tied down to that rope? He sees the Mahout in close vicinity and expresses his concern. The Mahout gave a very simple response. He says, when these elephants were young and much smaller, we used the same rope to tie them. And at that point in time, that rope was sufficient to hold them in place. Now, what happens as these elephants grew, they started to believe that that rope can still hold them, right? So here, what I would like to conclude and take you back to what we learned yesterday is, we have this image in our mind, right, which makes us believe that something is not possible, right? Because probably we were conditioned, we were programmed, or we were growing up with that belief. Now, had these elephants made an attempt, right, they could have achieved their freedom. So, having the right image in mind, getting rid of your self-limiting beliefs will help you achieve what you want. Coming on to my story number two, right? A psychology professor walks into a class with a glass of water which is half full. Now, seeing this glass of water, the students started talking amongst themselves. Oh, the professor is going to question us half full or half empty. But to their surprise, the professor puts a different question to them. The professor asks them, how heavy is this glass of water, do you think? How heavy is it? So the students started giving, different answers like, oh, it's between 7 OS to 25 OS, it's 10 OS. So, the students gave a very different answer. To which the professor said, it's not the weight of the glass that matters. What matters is how long you have been holding on to it, right? Now, if I were to hold this glass of water, say for a minute, I really wouldn't feel anything, correct? Now, if I was holding on to the same glass of water for 10 minutes, I would start to feel a little pain. For an hour, if I were to hold the glass for an hour, my hand would certainly start feeling the numbness and the pain would increase. And just imagine holding on to it for the rest of the day. You are going to cry in pain for sure. Now, what do we learn from the story? It's all about the stress that we are dealing in our lives. It's that conflict between, the facts and the opinions that cause so much stress in our lives. And we sleep with it day in and day out. And this is hampering our productivity to such a great extent, right? If you can do something to get rid of that stress, go work on it. If you can't, just leave it aside and still continue to find different ways to focus on your goals. And I'm sure achieving your goals is just not going to be difficult anymore. So these were my key takeaways from the yesterday session that we had, right? Now I bring you all back to today's book club session. It is an epic session that we will be having today, right? And the reasons are in plenty. First and foremost, we celebrate the 52nd week of this unlimited potential inside book club. I would want to congratulate and applaud each one of you for making this happen. Now, I want all of you to go off mute and clap your hands. I think because it's been 1 year, a great year of transforming lives. And Viniji, we cannot thank you enough for making this happen for us. And it's just not Viniji. I'm sure each one has a role to play. And I think it's a commendable and an amazing journey for all of us. If you agree, a loud clap. Everybody has to give a clap. Please unmute and clap yourself for yourselves and for everyone around. Amazing. That just, gives me a lot more boost and confidence that we are doing great. Okay, another reason why I think this is an epic session that we're having today is the last week we managed to cross 3,000 plus followers. And the consistent efforts from all of us makes it a bigger feat. Again, one more round of applause for all of us, to each one of us who are contributing to make this happen. And on a Sunday afternoon, taking time to sit here and listen to the people speak, I think everyone deserves a pat on the back for this. One more big round of applause for all of us, and welcome to this epic episode of the Unlimited Potential Inside Book Club. All right. So our speakers are in line waiting to deliver the speeches. They've been working all throughout the week, putting in a lot of efforts, preparing speeches, getting it reviewed, talking through the coaches. I think they deserve a fair time to be given. A few things to be noted out here are preamble to the book club that we all sincerely and diligently follow. For those of you who are new to this book club and are thinking, should I start talking? Should I not start? Should I just sit back and watch? Who are constantly fighting this dilemma, here is a small tip for you. Get in touch with your coaches. Find out the 5 books that are prescribed for you. Start reading them. I know start reading them is like the easiest thing to say, but it's not difficult to achieve. So what this requires for you to do is spend 10 minutes reading each day, just 10 minutes. Initially, you will cry, you will curse me, you will curse everybody. Why should I read? But then trust me, over a time, it will develop into a habit, right? And once you are confident that you have read enough, write down a speech for just 2 to 3 minutes, not longer. Just maybe one chapter, write it down, send it to your coach, review with your coach, take some good feedback, and start practicing, right? Come on live on our Facebook page. See how you look, how you sound. And I'm sure there is umpteen amount of encouragement that's waiting around for you. And trust me, while you start doing this, you will get to a stage where you are confident for the big day to deliver your first big speech, right? Secondly, please keep your videos on because we are already living in a virtual world, disconnected from people. At least when we are seeing real faces, it gives us that happiness to be connected personally. Keep your phones aside because we do not want any disturbances coming in between. And the most important thing, do not forget to appreciate the speakers that who will be talking today. So after the session is over, please get onto the Facebook group. Write one small word of appreciation or one sentence saying you did a great job, right? It will encourage them to come with more speeches, right? And with this, let's open up our speeches for today. And our first speaker for the day is Ravi. Ravi, are you ready?
Yeah, Vinit, I'm ready.
Viniji, can we get started?
Yeah.
We can start. Right?
Okay.
Sure.
So, shall I start, sir?
Yes, Ravi, all yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, good evening, everyone. My name is Ravi. I'm from Bangalore. I have a 10 years experience in the corporate field as administration. So, today I'm talking about faith visualization of design. The story about 14 years old boy. Okay. So, he was a dream. He want to grow height and he want to reduce the he want to reduce the weight. So on daily basis, he started exercise and doing running, all this point, everything doing. After 1 month also is not reduce the weight as well, is not growing. He was very disappointed about his life. Even in surrounding, all the people is giving negative point to his boy. Whatever doing exercise and doing physical activity is not helping to your life. You're not growing height and you're not weight reduce also. So he was thinking on daily why it is not happening. So every day I'm doing my regular activities, physical activity, but it's not happening. Why it is not growing height? So one day he suddenly got a new idea. Set the images. Any cost I want to grow in height and reduce the weight. Okay, so he was started. So before he was sleeping in the bed, so every day imagine he want to started the growing height and he want to reduce the weight. So every day continuously, subsequently, was mindset is fixedly he was fix that mindset. So also he was started regular basis. He want to starting physically activity doing it. After 4 months, he got a good, amazing result. He was growing height from 5.7 to 6.1. He was amazing result. He was a good, happy about his life is growing height. So he will continue grow until he was reached to 6.4 height. Also, is reducing cage 20 kgs for his body. So everyone we have to fix the goal and our image personal images, maybe personal or professional. So we think about on daily basis, subsequently our images and goals. So it will be delay or 1 month or 2 month or 3 month. So end of the day, we'll achieve our day goals. So I hope this story it helped to everyone our decision. Thank you, Vinit.
Thank you, Ravi. That was a very great speech
Great
and
speech, Ravi.
Very nice,
very
Ravi.
nice. Everyone, please
Yeah.
applaud for him. His efforts have been so consistent, and the results are in front of you. Great speech, Ravi, and obviously a great motivational message that you passed on. Persistence with goals, we will definitely achieve them.
Yes.
Great stuff. Sindhu, are you ready?
Yes, Vinny, I'm ready.
Awesome, Sindhu. Set the screen on fire.